Ah, yes, Mrs. Harris. Please, please, have a seat. Now, what can I do for you? Mm-hmm. Well, yes, Mrs. Harris. Our attorneys specialize in removing people from certain watch lists. Yes. Now, what are you here for? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm I'm a little confused, Mrs. Harris. I thought that you wanted to be off of the no-fly list in America. Hmm. Well, no, Mrs. Harris, that's not what the no-fly list consists of. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the insects or, you know what? Let's just move on. So, you want to be off of Santa's naughty list. I see. I see. Now, Mrs. Harris, what do you think you did that got you onto that list in the first place? Hmm. Well, Mrs. Harris, I'm afraid I'm going to have to insist that you be honest with me. Otherwise, it's going to be extremely difficult for me to get you off of that list. I mean, out of all the lists in the world, Santa's naughty list is the most difficult. Usually, Santa doesn't compromise. But if you tell me everything you've done, I can assure you that I will not tell anyone. After all, there is something called lawyer client confidentiality. I mean, if you were accused of having, let's say, ended a person's life, and you swore up and down to everyone that you didn't do it, but then you came to me, your attorney, and you said, yes, I did it, but I mean, I wouldn't be able to go to the police and tell them that you did it because I'm your attorney. So, whatever it is you think you did to end up on Santa's naughty list, well, you're going to have to tell me, and in as much detail as possible. So, please begin. Mm-hmm. 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 Mrs. Harris, I'm going to stop you right there. I don't think you understand. Santa's naughty list for adults doesn't actually refer to adult behavior. That's right. It has nothing to do with skimpy lace lingerie. It has nothing to do with any sort of kink that you or your partner or the person whom you cheated with enjoy. Yes, you need to understand something. Um, when we talk about getting adults off of Santa's naughty list, um, it has nothing, nothing to do with adult behavior between two consenting adults. That's right, nothing. So, I'm really not interested in what you and what your boss did after hours in your boss's office. No, please do not go into graphic detail about how he propped you up onto the copy machine, Mrs. Harris. Please just stop there. Tell me about anything you did to get on Santa's naughty list that has nothing to do with general adult behavior. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't understand what I mean. Well, I had a client, obviously I'm not going to mention his name. He would walk by a certain homeless person and he would never give him any money. This homeless person would politely ask him, and after a while, the homeless person, who would usually make a few coins by standing outside of Starbucks and opening doors for men and women, well, I mean, literally opening the door for them. Most people would say thank you and walk in, and usually on their way out, he would open the door for them and then ask if they had any spare change, that sort of thing. He was harmless. He never smelled. He never bothered anyone if they turned him down. But this particular client was in the habit of giving him dirty looks, always saying no. So after a while, even though this homeless person would still hold the door open for him, he stopped asking for his spare change. Well, it got to the point where this client would berate him. Yes, for being lazy, probably being a crackhead or a drunk. And at one point in time, it got so bad that a passing police officer told him to move along. Well, no, not the homeless person, the client. The officer told him that he was disturbing the peace and that he needed to move along, otherwise he'd get arrested. Well, that was definitely good enough, or I should say bad enough, for this client to end up on Santa's naughty list. And, well, you know what happens when you end up on Santa's naughty list. As an adult, that tablet you had your eye on, oh no. That new smartphone you wanted, nope, not happening. Most of the time, Santa would leave them a bag of coal, a dirty plastic bag just filled with coal, not even a cloth bag that they could reuse. And oftentimes, if you picked up the plastic bag, the coal would just tear through the bottom. And the truth is, Santa is very clever. Yeah, we once had another client who wanted to receive a plastic bag full of coal because apparently he wanted to use the coal to heat his house. Well, Santa has a way of figuring these things out. So instead of leaving him a bag of coal or anything that he could burn for warmth, Santa left him a bag of snowballs, which he placed onto the man's floor. And these were magical snowballs. I mean, as soon as the man saw them and picked up the bag, they instantly melted into water and leaked all over the place. It was terrible. So even when people want coal, Santa gives them something they don't want, they can't use. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, adults know how this works. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. Well, the problem is I don't think you're going to get that engagement ring. I mean, I understand your husband got very upset and he took it back when he found out you were cheating on him. And I mean, the divorce is going through. I don't think you're going to get the engagement ring back. No, no. I'm sorry. I know you're still using your husband's last name and you're still using Mrs., but no, I don't think so. No. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you have to understand something. The clients we get, they usually realize they messed up. Deep down inside, they're good people, but sometimes this world can really get to us, all of us, and they make mistakes. For example, the client we had who made fun of the homeless man, he felt bad about it. He genuinely did. At least that's how it seemed. I don't know. He could be a scumbag and he was lying, but yeah, it looked as though he was genuinely upset about it. We were able to help get him off of the naughty list for a fee. And of course, there are conditions. He had to go back and apologize to that homeless man and offer him some money. And then every single time he went to that Starbucks, which was usually once a week, he had to make sure to give him his spare change each and every single time. And that lasted for about a year. And he kept doing that, so he remained off of Santa's naughty list. I mean, that's how it works. You don't just pay us and we work our magic and all of a sudden you're off his list. It just doesn't work that way. No. I mean, our attorneys are some of the most powerful magical creatures out there. And a lot of them do know Santa. So sometimes they can speak to him directly, but with more difficult cases, yeah, it takes quite a bit of intervention. Oh yes. Well, I mean, just because someone is a magical creature doesn't mean that they're evil. No. Well, I mean, it's difficult to explain, but not every magical creature is evil. They can just do magical things. That's all. I mean, after all, we do have Gladys the unicorn. Yeah, yeah. Um, she's in charge of the entire secretarial pool, and she's a very hard-working unicorn. And sometimes she uses her magical powers to make people feel better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, no, of course not. It's Gladys doesn't sell our employees drugs. Of course not. She she's a magical creature. She uses her magic. Now, I mean, with respect, that was kind of out of line. It really was. Now we can help you, just as we've helped all of our other clients, but that's not the right attitude to have. I mean, after all, if you want a better example, how about Santa himself? He's magic. That's right. Well, how do you think he gets into people's homes? I mean, have you ever seen a fat man go down an actual chimney? Yeah. How do you think Santa does it? He's magical. How do you think he gets into the homes of good boys and girls when they don't have a chimney, the windows are locked, the door is locked, and you can't blame the parents, especially if it's snowing outside. Santa has to get in somehow. How do you think he does it? Well, I'll tell you how. He gets in through the keyhole. That's right. Santa can fit through the keyhole of any door. Sometimes he gets in underneath the door. How? He's magic. Santa is magical. Everyone knows that. So, what is it that well, there had to be something major. What is it that you think you did to end up on his naughty list? Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, okay. Um, so mostly three things. Let's take the first one. You yelled at your child when they refused to listen. Is that it? You yelled at your child when they refused to listen. Well, I mean, you are a parent, you got frustrated. We can definitely do something with that. Yes, yes. And that other thing, uh, let's see, you lied to a neighbor because you just didn't want to deal with them. Is that it? Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, well, lying is bad. Santa doesn't like it when people lie. But this lie wasn't a major one. It was relatively harmless, and you did it to spare the neighbor's feelings. I mean, you could have just told her the truth and called her a miserable hag, maybe kicked her down the stairs. But okay, you lied in order to not talk to her, end the conversation, but you spared her feelings. You know what? Yeah, that sounds like something that Carl could handle. Yes. Yes, he's one of our attorneys who knows Santa. Yes. Yes, I think I will refer this case to Carl. Carl is usually really good about little white lies, harmless ones. And you did lie to spare her feelings. So what's that last one? I mean, let me ask you this. You didn't intentionally kick that puppy, did you? No. Okay, we can work with that. That's going to be the most difficult one. So you're walking down the street, a puppy ran out in front of you, You took a step because you didn't see the puppy, and when you lifted your foot, you accidentally kicked the puppy, but not hard. Was the puppy badly injured? No. He just smiled, wagged his tail, and ran off. Okay, okay. Carl can also handle that as well. Yes, I mean, it's not like you murdered someone, you know. Yeah, yeah. We can definitely get you off of Santa's naughty list. I mean, seriously, you should see some of the people who come into my office. It's like they expect me to work miracles after they've done such horrible, disgusting things. But your case, we can definitely help you. Yes, we can.